My name is Harold Lewis. I am 79 years old, and I am currently sitting in a chair that has become my entire world. If you are watching this, and you still have the strength in your legs to walk to your front door and keep going, then you have something I would give every cent of my savings to have back. I need to tell you this now, while my mind is still clear enough to remember the names of the places I never saw. I need to tell you before the silence of this house swallows me whole. Don't make my mistake. Don't believe the lie that I fed myself for 40 years. I spent 4 decades as a senior claims adjuster for an insurance firm in Chicago, 40 years. Think about that number for a second. That is more than 14,000 days of waking up at 6:15 a.m., drinking burnt coffee from a ceramic mug that said "World's Best Dad," a title I'm not sure I ever truly earned, and driving the same gray sedan down the same gray highway. I was the responsible one. I was the man who never took a sick day, the man who stayed until 7 p.m. to finish a file because I believed in the golden years. That was the big lie. They tell you that life is a mountain you climb, and at the very top there is a beautiful sun-drenched plateau called retirement. They tell you that if you just grind your teeth, ignore the tightness in your chest, and save every penny, you will eventually reach a place where you are finally free to live. It started in 1978. I remember it clearly because that was the year my wife Claire brought home a stack of travel brochures from a local agency. We were young then, my back didn't ache, and I could run 3 miles without thinking about my heart. She wanted to see the fjords in Norway. She wanted to smell the lavender fields in Provence. I looked at those glossy photos of blue water and purple flowers, and then I looked at our bank account. I told her, "Not this year, Claire. Let's wait until the mortgage is down. Let's wait until I get the vice presidency. We'll go when we're settled." Settled is just another word for dead, but I didn't know that then. 1978 turned into 1985. In 1985, I got the promotion. I remember the smell of the new leather chair in my office. It smelled like success, or at least what I thought success was supposed to smell like. Claire asked about Italy that summer. I told her we needed to put the money into the kids' college funds. "Just 5 more years," I said. I was always saying 5 more years. I treated my life like a business transaction where I was constantly trading my present joy for a future security that didn't actually exist. I was a stoic, or so I told myself. I didn't need vacations. I didn't need frivolous experiences. I was providing. But you see, while I was providing for a future, I was neglecting the people who were living in the present. I was a ghost in my own home. I'd come home, eat a silent dinner, and head to my study to look at more spreadsheets. I thought I was building a castle. I was actually building a cage. The turning point happened on a Tuesday in late October of 2016. I had finally retired 6 months earlier at the age of 70. I had the castle. I had the $1 million 401k. I had the gold watch. We had finally booked the trip, the big one. 6 months across Europe and Asia. The tickets were printed. They were sitting on the mahogany entrance table near the mail. I remember looking at them and feeling a strange sense of victory. I had won the game. I went into the garage to pull down the heavy suitcases from the overhead rack. It was a simple movement, something I'd done 100 times. But as I reached up, something inside my chest didn't just tighten, it tore. It felt like a hot iron being pressed into my ribs. I remember the sound of the suitcase hitting the concrete floor, a dull, heavy thud. And then there was the silence. I woke up 3 days later in a hospital room that smelled of bleach and industrial floor wax. The doctor, a man 30 years younger than me with a face that looked like it had never seen a day of real stress, told me I'd had a massive cardiac event followed by a series of complications. He told me my traveling days were over before they even began. He said the altitude of a plane would be a risk, and the physical exertion of walking through foreign cities was out of the question. I came home to a house that felt like a museum of things I'd never used. I sat in this very chair and looked at those tickets on the table. They stayed there for 3 weeks, until Claire finally moved them. That was the moment I realized the absolute cruelty of the later trap. I had traded the strength of my youth for the currency of my old age, only to find out that the currency was useless because I no longer had the health to spend it. I had worked for 40 years to buy a ticket to a show I was now too sick to attend. I'm telling you this because I see you. I see you scrolling through your phone at 2 a.m., worrying about your career path, worrying about whether you can afford that trip, worrying about what your boss thinks of you. I want to grab you by the shoulders and shake you. Your boss will replace your position in a week after you die. Your bank account will be fought over by people who didn't earn it. But the memory of a sunset over a Greek island, the feeling of your child's hand in yours as you walk through a forest, that is the only real wealth you will ever own. I was a cold man. I thought being a provider meant being a statue. I was wrong. I remember a night in 1994 when my daughter, Sarah, wanted me to go to her dance recital. I had a closing on a big insurance merger. I chose the merger. I remember the look on her face, not anger, just a quiet acceptance that she was second place to a file folder. Now Sarah lives in Seattle. She calls me once a month. We talk about the weather. There is a wall between us made of all the times I wasn't there. I have all the money in the world now to fly her here, to buy her whatever she wants, but I can't buy back the night of that recital. I can't buy back the intimacy I traded for a bigger office. If I could go back to that man in 1982, sitting at that desk, I would tell him to get up. I would tell him that the perfect time is a myth created by people who are afraid to live. I would tell him that his body is a machine with an expiration date, and every day he spends sitting under those flickering fluorescent lights is a day he is burning his most precious resource. You think you have time, you don't. You have a series of moments, and they are slipping through your fingers like dry sand. Look at your hands right now. If they are smooth, if they don't tremble, if they can still grip a steering wheel or a hiking pole, you are richer than any billionaire in a hospice bed. Don't wait until you're settled. Don't wait for the promotion. Take the trip. Eat the food that tastes like life, not the processed garbage you eat at your desk because you're too busy. Spend the money on memories, not on objects. I have a garage full of high-end tools I never used and a closet full of suits that are out of style. They mean nothing. The only things that matter to me now are the few times I actually broke my own rules. The weekend we drove to the coast on a whim. The time we stayed up all night talking in the kitchen. We live in a world that worships the hustle. We are told that if we aren't constantly building, we are failing. But look at me. I built everything. I checked every box, and I am sitting here in a beige sweater watching the dust motes dance in a sliver of sunlight, unable to walk to the end of my own driveway without gasping for air. Is that success? Is it success to have a pristine credit score but a body that feels like a prison? Modern stoicism isn't about suppressing your life so you can work harder. True stoicism is understanding that memento mori, remember you will die, isn't a threat. It's a liberation. It's a reminder that since the end is certain, the present is the only thing that is sacred. If you knew you were going to lose your sight in a year, you would spend every second looking at the trees, the clouds, the faces of the people you love. Well, you are going to lose it. Maybe not in a year, maybe in 50, but the clock is ticking just the same. Stop waiting for the right circumstances. The circumstances will never be perfect. There will always be a bill to pay, a project to finish, or a reason to stay home. Walk through the fear. The fear of being irresponsible is nothing compared to the terror of regret. Regret is a weight that gets heavier every year. It's a ghost that sits at the foot of your bed and whispers about the versions of yourself that you never allowed to exist. I am haunted by the herald who went to Norway in 1978. I am haunted by the herald who told his boss to wait because his daughter had a dance recital. I see the world through a screen now. I watch travel videos of the places I should have been. I see the colors of the markets in Marrakesh, the mist on the Scottish Highlands, the chaos of Tokyo at night. It's beautiful, but it's not mine. It's a ghost of a life I traded for a pension. I want you to do something for me. I want you to stop this video in a moment and look around your room. Look at your life. If you are waiting for a sign to finally do the thing you've been dreaming of, this is it. This is your sign. Call your mother. Not tomorrow. Now. Tell her you love her. Book that flight, even if it means you'll have a little less in your savings. Go for a walk and feel the wind on your face and truly appreciate the fact that your lungs can pull in the air. My name is Harold Lewis, and this is the life I never shared. I don't want your likes. I don't want you to follow me because you think I'm a celebrity. I want you to subscribe so that the next time I have the strength to speak, you are there to hear it because I have so many more mistakes to warn you about. But more than that, I want you to go down into the comments and tell me one thing you've been putting off, one dream you've been keeping in a drawer. And I want you to tell me the date you are finally going to do it. No excuses, no 5 more years. The door is right there, while you still can. Please, just walk through it. Don't wait 40 years to realize that the world was always waiting for you, but you were too busy filling out forms to notice. The sun is setting now, and the house is getting cold. I'm going to sit here for a while longer. I hope you're out there somewhere, moving, breathing, and living the life I was too responsible to touch. Don't wait. Please, for the love of everything that is holy, do not wait.